there, everyone. It's 4 o'clock in the East. In the words of one person who played an outside role, a role bigger than arguably just about anyone else in helping to propel Donald Trump to the White House, the Epstein case is now, quote, a line in the sand. Joe Rogan, whose last-minute endorsement of Donald Trump back in November generated endless political debates among Democrats about whether Kamala Harris should have gone on his show, wondering if it would have been determinative in November's outcome. That guy, Joe Rogan, is out with a crystal clear warning for Donald Trump that Trump's evasiveness and Trump's gaslighting on the Epstein case is hurting his credibility now on everything else. Watch.
This is a line in the sand.
Yeah.
This one's a line in the sand. Yeah. Because this is one where there's a lot of stuff about, you know, when we thought Trump was going to come in and a lot of things are going to be resolved. Yeah. We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to figure everything out. And when you have this one hardcore line in the sand that everybody had been talking about forever, and then they're trying to gaslight you on that.
Rogan also ripped to shreds the defense that Team Trump has argued and played on his show. Here's what he said about FBI Director Kash Patel's appearance on his show last month.
The Epstein stuff is so crazy because when Kash Patel was on here and he was like, there's nothing. And I was like, what are you talking? Yeah. I didn't even know what to say. My thought was, and people are like, why didn't you push back more? My thought was like, I'm just going to put this out there and let the internet do its work because there's nothing I can. The guy's saying there's no tapes, there's no video. That doesn't make any sense. Everyone knows it doesn't make any sense. The whole thing was nuts. And then he's like, well, we have a film. We're going to release that film. And the film has a minute missing from it. Yeah. Like, do you think we're babies? Like, what is this?
So much to unpack there, right? But part of the reason that Rogan said that Epstein is a, quote, line in the sand, part of what he argues, part of what the complaint is centered around, is that Donald Trump is now at the center of so many more unanswered questions that seem to multiply with every comment Trump makes. On Monday, Trump said this.
For years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that work for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
What? What? They break up as friends because he, quote, stole people from him? People are property? And then Trump claims he never had the privilege of going to the island? Okay. Is it best a curious and ill-advised choice of words to call that a privilege? But also this stealing of people from him as though those people were his property and Epstein stole his property? It's a fair interpretation of those comments. We recall that the Trump administration has been saying that Epstein and Trump had a falling out because Epstein was a, quote, creep. That's been the line from the press folks. Trump was asked now about these conflicting answers today, and that led reporters to ask more questions. Listen.
You said yesterday your falling out with Jeffrey Epstein was over him taking some of the workers from your business. But your administration in the past said that you threw him out because he was a creep. So can you explain that discrepancy?
Well, maybe they're the same thing, you know, it's sort of a little bit of the same thing. But no, he took people that worked for me, and I told him don't do it anymore, and he did it. And I said, stay the hell out of here.
Yes, they were young women. What did they do?
In the spa.
Jobs in the spa.
Yeah, people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told them, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want them taking people. And and he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again, and I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons, that include Virginia Jeffrey?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people, yeah. He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever.
Hi, myself Mera Yusuf, and today I am back to discuss another topic. Okay, you are not going to believe what I am about to tell you. So recently a birthday book was discovered in Jeffrey Epstein estate. Yes, you heard that right. A birthday book. And on the surface, it might just look like a fancy scrapbook, some kind of personal tribute for his 50th birthday. But here is a twist, and brace yourself for this. The book was not made by his friends or family. It was assembled by his victims. His own rape victims, the same young girls he abused, were forced to create this tribute under Ghislaine Maxwell orders. I mean, what are we looking at here? Is this a birthday gift, or is it evidence of psychological torture? You remember in 2019, that's when the whole Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell trafficking operation finally blew up in the news. The jet logs, the private islands, the powerful names, all of it. But this birthday book, this disturbing little piece of the puzzle somehow slipped through the cracks. Until now. This is not just disgusting, it's sadistic, and it's also psychological warfare. Imagine forcing your victim to write you a sweet birthday note, and after ruining their lives. What kind of twisted minds does that? And still system did nothing. Why? Because the man had power, he had friends in high places. So I want to ask you, if this book is real, if this tribute was actually crafted by his victim, shouldn't this be considered evidence in court, or is this just another piece of the cover-up? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from over.
What year is it? What are we talking about? Trump is talking in that sound you just listened to about a victim named Virginia Jeffrey. She's one of Jeffrey Epstein's better known victims. We know a lot about her as a victim. She died by suicide this April. In the midst of all this, Trump is trying to refocus attention on Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice and longtime girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, whose attorney has made clear that she would like a pardon or a commutation. For what, it's not clear. Today, she told Congress she would testify only under immunity. Some of Trump's media allies are already laying the groundwork for Trump to comply with that request and grant her clemency. Listen to MAGA influencer Charlie Kirk.
If anybody actually has the information of what has happened around Jeffrey Epstein, it's not going to be some James Comey created file. It is going to be Ghislaine Maxwell.
But do you know who created the Ghislaine Maxwell? Well, forget it. I know we're not on Earth One anymore. So for those of you interested in how this goes on Earth Two, here's how the new narrative that Joe Rogan, for one, isn't buying goes. The files created by the investigators that sent Ghislaine Maxwell to prison and before he committed suicide, Jeffrey Epstein to jail, those files are a hoax.
You know who Alan Dershowitz is, right? He's not just a lawyer. This guy was Jeffrey Epstein's personal legal shield. Yeah, the same Alan who defended Epstein back in the early 2000s and broke that infamous sweetheart deal. The one where Epstein got just 13 months for sex crimes that should have locked him for a life. Now, here is where it gets creepy. Guess who else defended? Donald Trump. Yes, the same lawyer who protected a non-offender was also on Trump impeachment defense team. You know, in 2008, the Dershowitz helped Epstein get a secret non-prosecution agreement. It allowed him to dodge federal charges, even though dozens of underage girls had come forward. And that guy, literally the architect of legal protection for Epstein, was handpicked for help defend Trump during his impeachment. I am not saying Trump is guilty of the same crimes, but when your lawyer has a history of defending traffickers, shouldn't that raise serious questions? Why did Trump choose dashers of all people? Or is this just another power play with the same elite protect each other behind closed doors? Now, I ask you, if your lawyer once saved a predator like Epstein from justice, would you trust him to defend your name? Or does this tell us everything we need to know about who is really running the game? Donald Trump about Jeffrey Epstein once said, "He is a lot of fun to be with." It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. Yes, that's real, that happened. Now, once pause with me. This is not just a casual remark. It's a window into a world most people don't want to believe exists. Let's be honest, who jokes about something like that, especially when it's later revealed that Epstein was abusing minors at the time? This quote was published in a 2002 New York Magazine article. That's way before Epstein got arrested. Which means these whispers, they were already floating in elite circles. I am not a Trump hater. I am not a Biden fan. I am not playing politics. I am a truth seeker. And the truth is that system is built to protect people like him. Epstein is gone. Maxwell is in jail. But the man who benefited from the empire, they are still walking red carpets. So I leave you with one final question. If this much smoke surrounds Trump's names, how long will we pretend there is no fire?